Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Nerd in Texoma. Now, this one may seem a little familiar to some of y'all. It's not. I mean, it's similar, and I don't understand why these doggone pictures back here keep getting out of alignment. I don't get that. And I don't really notice it until I'm on camera and, I can see the background behind me, and sorry for that. This particular video today, I'm going to be talking about something I recently got and comparing it with other pieces that I've already had in my collection. And some of the comparisons are going to be of items or of an item, and I don't think you've seen the one I'm about to show, but yeah. Something's going to look familiar in this episode. So, bear with me on that. Like I said, it's just comparison. It's not getting into the full item y'all have seen before. And again, it's Texas, so yes, you're going to hear my fans and the AC. It's still hot. It's cooling down, but it's still hot, horrible Texas. Today, I'm going to be talking about this little guy right here. This is a unofficial third party of the actual world's smallest transformer from the line from about 20 years ago, where they actually transform. But this is, like I say, this one is a third party based off of the original, because as you can see, he's clear. And I'll try and get some pictures later on after I turn off the lights. He actually glows in the dark. Pretty freaking cool. On all these little world's smallest transformers, they pretty much transform the exact same way that the original did. They had to make some alterations because they're so freaking tiny, but more or less, like I said, they transform the exact same way and look like their original G1 counterparts. Now, I apologize in advance if it's not exactly perfect, because as y'all know, my phone loves to not zoom in on things and leaves smaller things kind of blurry. But yeah, this is, let's say, a third-party little Optimus that I just picked up, and this is the actual figure. Let's see if I can do that. Have both of them in the shot. This one is the actual, real, legit Takara Tomy release. Now, this one is a special edition of that world's smallest transformer Takara release, because I got it years ago when BotCon was in Dallas. That was back in 2012, and that was part of this little box set that they were doing at the time, or about 10 years before that, where it was a recreation of the Optimus versus Megatron Japanese box set. Originally in Japan, it came out with the full-size figures, but since they had just started doing the world's smallest, like I said, I think it was about like 03, 05, somewhere around there. I'm not Googling it right now. and they re-released Optimus and Megatron in their original G1 forms, they decided to make the world's smallest Versus box set, and I managed to pick it up at that time. And yes, I do have the little world's smallest Megatron. I've transformed this guy a couple of times. I choose not to, because the original G1 Megatron was kind of a delicate figure in some joints, in some areas. Being smaller, being shrunk down to this size, yeah, all those delicate parts for transformation are even more delicate. So, yeah, this is the mode he stays in. You know, maybe once every couple of years I might feel gutsy, but I don't want a chance breaking that figure, so that's why I leave it in that form. Now, this is what I was talking about with the comparison bit, is y'all have seen the gold Optimus before, part of the Dr. Wu line of smallest Transformers, and there's the actual legit smallest Transformer there. And that clear glow-in-the-dark Prime is this size, and as you can see, the Dr. Wu is pretty much about the same size. Whoops. You know, Dr. Wu is just a little bit longer, and yeah, okay, he's standing up a little bit taller in the back. I think that's because of my hand. He's just a little bit longer because of these feet that stick off of the back end due to transformation. But I mean, this is a modern figure, you know, currently available. This is a 20-year-old figure, or based off of a 20-year-old figure. And I mean, just the detail is amazing. This was amazing at the time. This is more amazing now. And again, for size comparison, so y'all get an idea of what I'm talking about when I say that these are the original, legit world's smallest Transformers, are based off of the original G1s. I so happen to have a G1. Actually, it's a G2, but for everybody who knows about Transformers, G2 was just the original Transformers, sometimes repainted, but just re-released a couple of years later when they figured out that they could make a few more bucks off of each mold. So yes, this is my G2 Prime. Yes, he has reproduction fists, so that's why they're clear blue. I wanted them that way. But this is the exact same, basically, as the G1 figure would be. This transforms the exact same way a G1 figure would be, but as you can see, as world's smallest, he is tiny. These figures are, like I say, awesome. They're cool. They don't take up much space, but they are expensive. This little guy here, by himself, cost me 30 bucks. I think it's worth it. I like it. I enjoy it. Part of my collection. You know, whether it's worth it to y'all or not, if you're a Transformer collector or not, I can't make that call for you. All I can do is share with y'all what I enjoy, what I like, showcase it, show it off. If you decide you like it, go for it. Look it up, buy it. If you decide you don't like it and you're just like, ah, dang it, I just spent 10 or 15 minutes on that video, hey, I thank you for watching the video. I thank you for your comments. No harm, no foul. If it's not for you, it's not for you. That's just the way I think a lot more things should be in life, but I'm not going to get into all that preaching and all that, so. I'm here to share the Transformers. Let me show y'all just a quick side-by-side comparison of the official world's smallest Optimus, or Convoy as they call him in Japan, next to my G2 Optimus. And y'all can see, pretty much they have recreated the original figure just in a very miniature form. And I do apologize for the weird way that I have to hold my G2 Optimus, because he's an older figure, 30 something years old, so some of the joints have loosened up. He stays in truck mode more than robot mode because he'll fall over. But again, here is the little world's smallest right next to him. And he's tiny. If his legs could go forward, he could sit on Optimus's shoulder and be like, "Hey Dad, tell me about the times back in the big war." All of that goofiness. But again, since he shows up better, I'm going to showcase, once I get it transformed, the official world's smallest Optimus next to my G2, and I'll bring in my glow-in-the-dark. One of the reasons I like the glow-in-the-dark is, as most of y'all know, I'm saying most, I'm not sure how many of y'all actually do, in the original Transformers movie in 1986, Hasbro executives decided that they needed to kill off the Optimus toy to sell new upcoming toys, so they killed off the character of Optimus, which did some pretty big emotional damage to kids at the time. Now, Optimus died, he turned gray, and then he was resurrected later on and came back looking like his normal old self. He never got the ghost treatment, but this little glow-in-the-dark I like to think of as Ghost Optimus. I'm trying to get my hand flat there so you can see the figure but not have it fall off. And that is what a G1, G2 Optimus looks like in size comparison. And you can see he's a tiny little guy, and there is the official one right there. Showcase him off a little bit, see if I can see if my hand is big enough to do this, or steady enough. There's the Optimi from the front. Now, again, one thing that you will notice is that they had to take some liberties with the smaller figures, that, certain things had to be adapted from the larger figures. Larger figures have the port there in the headlight that the fists will just plug into. And of course, when you're not using the fists, you can always flip down the front of the cab there and put them in. Since these guys are so tiny, you can't flip down the cab. Tiny little fist that would fit in there, would get lost. So what they did is they actually just made the whole front section one piece there. See if you can see like where the headlights are. That's just one molded piece with the windows and everything. Whereas like, see, when you pop the arm out on the G1, it takes out the headlight with it. These already have the arm, actually I mean the fist, where is it, molded into the arm that hides behind that little headlight panel, so you don't lose the parts. It's still pretty darn cool. Like I said, I'll try to get a picture of the little glow-in-the-dark guy when I turn the lights off, and then say here for size comparison, detail comparison, is that gold Optimus y'all saw earlier months ago, next to the official, next to the third-party recreation glow-in-the-dark ghost Optimus. Hope y'all enjoyed this little video, and I will see y'all in the next one. Bye.